Hello and welcome to Matchbook's Goodwood and Galway preview. It's Thursday. Guys, yesterday, slightly unlucky. Rixie, I thought Black Horton was pretty unlucky. Good price though at 14 or 16 to 1 yesterday.
Yeah, I had the money spent when they spun off the home turn, to be honest, because Bryony Frost looked like they were travelling very well, and he's a very genuine horse and he stays further. So I was like, it's all over bar the screaming and shouting, but unfortunately a loose horse came and caused a bit of chaos, and then that didn't really help. But yeah, look, under a big weight, we kind of did say at the time, you know, it's going to take a monster performance to win it, and he was probably, you'd have to say he was a little bit unlucky. Whether it cost him the race, that was another thing. But look, he ran huge, and so look, when you're backing horses at that price, you know, when they run well, you can't be, you're disappointed. But look, you take the rough with the smooth, as a man said to me once.
Absolutely. Brian gave him a great ride, in fairness. DC Circus Maximus, we were cheering him home here in the office, not to beat.
Yeah, we'll touch a second night as yesterday. Look, sure, it was a brilliant performance by Too Darn Hot. Maybe Ryan Moore went too small a bit early on him. You know, it was a long way home. It was 2 furlongs out, but I mean, there was no denying the winner. I think once Frankie got in front, he was never coming back. And Mark got it right. Circus Maximus went off second favourite and finished second by a length. Like, I think it was, like, I mean, you know, if you're back in seconds, you're not doing too bad. You know, it's better than back in fifth.
Absolutely. We hit the crossbar yesterday, but let's move on to today, and hopefully we'll get a few winners. Let's first of all look at the Nassau Stakes, gents, and look at the betting. Jewel Guineas, 1,000 guineas winner Hermosa here, warm enough favourite 3.0, Medea at 3.8, Maxada 7.6, Chanel at 10.0, and Rod at 12.0. Rixie, I'll start with you first. Is there enough holes in Hermosa? I mean, look, you know, like I said, 1,000 guineas winner on both sides of the Irish Sea. Any chinks in the armoury here?
No, I don't think there is. I would have her personally closer to 5-4, maybe 6-5, if I'm being honest on form. We've touched on it a couple of times. I've done the pod. I keep my own kind of amateur ratings, and I've got her £7 clear of the field here, to be honest. 7 of the last 10 years they've gone to 3-year-olds, and 4 of the last 5 have gone to 3-year-olds as well. She is the out and out class act in this race. She was a little bit disappointed, I would say, at Royal Ascot when she was beaten, and I think that's why we're getting a bigger price today, is just because, you know, I think she was sent off maybe 6-5, nearly even money at Ascot, and she was beaten. But I'd say that was her third run in fairly quick succession. And she got pretty warm that day at Ascot, and maybe just wasn't herself, and she was below her best. She was below what she did in the Irish 1,000 guineas. Anyway, but look, she still ran to a good level, and even if she ran to that level again today, which is below her best, I think she'll still win. She is a full sister to a horse called Hydrangea, who was an unbelievably tough, consistent, and classy horse for Aidan O'Brien about 2 or 3 seasons ago. Hydrangea won over 12 furlongs. Later in her career, and to be honest, I'm pretty surprised at the pace that Hermosa showed this season, given her pedigree. You know, she's by Galileo, who's a massive influence on stamina, so there is a chance again that she could even improve for this step up and trip today. In terms of pace in the race, she's a front runner. Brian Moore can go out there and dictate his own pace, and even if someone wants to take him on and go quicker, that'll suit, because I think usually when you get those strong run races, the best horse wins, and in my mind she's the best horse in this race, and 3.0 is a value bet for me.
DC, I won't lie, when someone like Declan Rix tells me that a horse should be 5-4 and he's 2-1 or 3.0 currently here at Matchbook, it gets me kind of excited, but I'm sensing that you're not fully on board with the Hermosa bandwagon today.
No, I do. I think she'll win. I think it'll take an awful lot to beat her. And we were chatting before this, like we were like Rix was saying he's going to tip her, and I said I'd pull up something probably against her that might go well. Although I didn't realise that Hermosa was 3.0, I'd say we should take as much of that as possible. The other horse I thought was interesting was Maxad. You know, she was absolutely punted off the boards for the Oaks and just didn't stay. I don't think she handled the track at all. Previous to that, she ran over 1 mile 2 at a Sandown and absolutely bolted up. No, I think she's what price is she? So do you mind me asking?
7.6 currently, these.
7.6. Like, I mean, that's your kind of each way bet. If you want small win bet, a place bet in her, I think that this is her optimum trip. I think Medea might be better at 1.5 miles. I think Hermosa is probably the best horse in the race by like Rick said, a couple of pounds. I think Max I can share to home.
Yeah, there's currently a user match book looking for 6,500 at 3.35. But let's be honest, by the sounds of the way your gentlemen are talking, it ain't going out that far.
No, I don't think so. Look, I would say with this, you'd probably want to see just how she parades and that. She got very warm at Ascot and she was below her best. So fillies they can change kind of quickly temperament wise and physically wise. So I'd say just keep an eye on that. But if the market starts to speak in her favour, look, you could even wait closer to the race and not back her 3.0 and back her maybe it's something like 2.75 or something, and you're still getting a value bet in my opinion. So that's the way I play it. I would say kind of one thing I'd be also looking at a lay in this race is the second. What price have you got this second favourite there, lads? Medea
3.8 currently, Rixie.
She's 3.8. She is actually of the top 5 in the market. She's at the bottom of my ratings. And I'm just wondering, she's a filly I'd be looking to maybe lay in a place, maybe in the 2-place market or the 3-place market. She as Deasy's already pointed out, she could be a proper 12 furlong filly, and she drops back to 10, and she's taken on some good fillies in here. Channel is obviously a Prix Diane winner over in France. She's a nice horse. Rider of Sir Michael South is a very progressive and genuine filly who loves the quickening ground. And Max said, I actually have Max said on the same, rated the same as Medea, but with the P to her name. So I'd be, look, if you guys do maybe without the front 2 mark, say a place mark within the front 2, I'd be looking to lay her potentially. I could easily see 2 horses finishing ahead of her.
Yeah, and she's obviously going to be well odds on. So currently looking at about 1.55 for a place. You can lay it there 1.6. So yeah, there's not going to be too much.
Is that in the 2-place market?
That's in the 3, Rix. Even 9 runners in the 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'd explore that to myself now. Look, this will be a good test of the rating. To be honest, we'll see how it goes, because Simon Rowlands, who does some tipping for us at theraces.com, he's actually tipped her up. So I could be fighting a losing battle here, but we'll see.
Rixie's ratings versus Simon Rowland. Love it. Bring it on. Can't wait.
I'm surprised she's down the bottom now. And Max said I was surprised by that now, but
yeah, but look, she's only
Simon
there.
Has previous with her as well. Simon tipped her up, but she won at Chester, and I'm sure Hugh did as well.
Yeah,
that was a big time.
Yeah, well, Simon and Hugh would be better judges than me, so maybe follow in with those.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, ever the modest man, Declan Rix at theraces.com. Let's move on to the Gordon Stakes at 3 o'clock. Goodwood, Constantinople here, another one for Aidan O'Brien, favourite here, 3.3. Spanish Mission at 6.2. Jalmood at 7.0. Dal Horoscala 8.2. Leo the Fury at 9.8. Actually just touched 10.0. And the F Road also at 10.0. Rixie, what are you thinking on this one?
Oh, this is a tough race, lads. It's mentally tough, if anything, because it's another favourite I'm struggling to get away with. I think what Constantinople did off a big weight and a decent Ascot handicap was a fair performance. Now the horse that he beat the horse that beat him the last day, which was another Aidan O'Brien horse called South Pacific. He's come out and run well enough. He's run above the level again that he showed at Ascot, behind Stradivarius in the Goodwood Cup on when was that? Wednesday or Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday. So look, the form looks really solid. He's another Galileo. I think he's a full brother to a very good kind of horse of Aidan O'Brien's called Bondi Beach, and he just looked very progressive. He was Jamie Heffernan did well to get him beat now at Cork back in April at the start of the season, and then he went to Cork to win a Group 3 against Buckhurst, showing a turn of pace. And then at Ascot we saw another side to him. We saw he could come off a strong gallop and be effective at that as well. Look, he's got a £3 penalty to carry, but he looked a class apart, and I don't think Aidan will probably be getting these horses started, getting these horses ready for the Ledger soon enough. I have a funny feeling this will be this horse's last kind of big run, and then he'll be let down before the Ledger. He'll have a prep, and then he'll go to the Ledger. So look, I think he's tough to get away from. I loathe coming on here and putting up favourites, but that's just the way I see the race. Unfortunately, Spanish Moon, I think, was very impressive in winning the Bahrain Trophy by 4 lengths the last day. Whether he's as good as that form, I'm not 100% sure, because it was a very messy race. And I don't, the drop down in trip today won't suit him. But look, there's one horse I would give a bit of a shout out to there at a big price. Price is Floating Artist with you guys. So.
He's kind of actually way down the list there. I'll come back to that in a second.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're grand. But yeah, so look, at the end of the day, Rixie, we have zero problem with backing favourites around here. Micheál Deasy will tell you that. Deasy, we don't mind backing favourites?
Sure, all the money I made this week was on sharp price favourites, Rixie. That's grand. Not be worrying about that at all. None of them were at the price that Constantinople was.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rixie. So yeah, Floating Artist, you can back about 40.0 here at Matchbook.
I'd maybe have a little kind of each way bet on him now. He won a slow run race the last day at Ascot, but I was impressed with his closing sectional now for a horse that stays. Richard Hannon wouldn't be kind of known to produce good stayers, but he's had the odd good horse running the Ledger actually down through the last couple of years. Just the pace that he showed last day was good, and even his juvenile form, he was beaten 2 lengths by a horse called Great Scott there in September of last year as a 2-year-old. That form, it reads pretty well now, to be honest, and I think Richard Hannon was actually suggesting in his post before the race today the horse probably just comes to himself at this time of year. So what I liked about the Ascot run, as I say, was his closing section. It was off a slow gallop, so you'd think a good horse would have a decent kick. But what I liked was he was a little bit outpaced and he ran through the line, which suggests a stronger run race would actually suit him as well. So that's one at a bigger price. I'd maybe give a little each way squeak as well.
Not a bad option at 40.0. DC, what were you lying on this one?
Jeez, I might be going Floating Artist now after I beat the best bred horse in training, Failak, the last day. The one I picked out was the William Haggis horse, Dal Horosignal. I thought he was actually entered in the race that Sir Ron Priestley won yesterday, a handicap, and he's actually going for this now instead, a conditional race. Like, this is a much better race, but he's a progressive horse. He's looked good in his 2 runs this year, and Danny Tudhope is up in him now as well today for William Haggis. I always kind of take notice of when Daniel Tudhope rides for William Haggis. They have a huge strike rate this year. He's a nice price. He's, I think, what you say, Sully was about 8.6, was he?
8.2 currently. Yeah,
I'd be having a small win bet in him and maybe a place bet in him as well, because I think that he could have a lot of improvement in him. Although I would agree with everything Rick said about Constantinople, I think that he probably has a much easier job here now, not have to give him away £3 to the field. And I'd say he's definitely one of Aidan's Ledger horses. I think the next time we'll see him, he'd be near the top of the market in that after today. But I'll go for a small win bet and a small place bet on Dal Horosignal.
All right, you've both given us plenty to mull over there. Let's have a look at Galway. It's Ladies' Day at Galway today, and as we know, the carnage that brings ourselves, lads. Also carnage in this race, guys, because this is a tough one. The Galway Hurdle, current betting here, 6.0 Band of Outlaws, Shannings 8.0, Guards of Babylon 10.0, Riven Light 10.5. Chosen Mate 12.0, 13.5 Davis Charm. DC, I'll stay here with you for this one because obviously this is a pretty easy race to call.
Yeah, you love the old easy handicaps in Galway, all right. So I was glad to hear that Mr. Declan Rix kind of agreed with me on this one. I've only the one picked out for this.
Hey, DC, what's rare is wonderful.
Yeah, what's rare is wonderful. Very good. I'll write that down here. Going for Chosen Mate, Gordon Elliott's horse. Kind of came on my radar when he was fairly well backed for the Morsey Novices Hurdle there in Aintree in the spring. He ran all right. I think he came 5th behind Reserve Tank, but he hadn't shown much before that. What kind of caught my eye with him was that he's had a little prep on the flat there recently. And we saw Gordon got Boris ready for the play today with 2 kind of handy spins over hurdles just to get him spot on. Similar kind of prep here for Chosen Mate. I think he's in there about 11.0 or 12.0, Sol.
Chosen Mate, he is 12.0 currently, yeah.
12.0, yeah. I think that's a nice enough price. I'd be having a nice win bet and a nice place bet off him. I think but this is a very tough race. There's a lot of the minute that are progressive and have been laid out for us. So I'll best of luck picking the winner with this. Yeah, I'm going to go for Chosen Mate.
You're on a good trainer there with Galway, and Gordon is obviously has a great record in Bally. But Rixie, what way are you lying on this one?
Yeah, I think just kind of before I go into it doesn't kind of, we said yesterday with the Galway plate, it didn't look a great renewal, and probably in terms of class wise again, I don't think this looked a good Galway hurdle either. Look, kind of in these kind of races, you're always trying to lean towards the kind of the second season kind of hurdlers and kind of novices last season. And as DC says, Chosen Mate actually fits that profile. He finished. I think he finished up last season over hurdles, running in the Grade 1 at Aintree, and he ran very well. But I couldn't put anyone off Chosen Mate at the prices. The way the ground is riding at Galway now, it's decent ground, and he's kind of a chasing type down the line. And in generally the Galway hurdle goes to real kind of hurdling types, the smaller nippy horses, especially when the ground is as quick as it is there at the moment. And look, I'm very sorry against it, but I can't get away from Band of Outlaws. He's another favourite. It's I think if kind of again mentioning the ratings I keep, I think of the ratings I keep, he's the one that looks he looks kind of, I wouldn't say he's well in, but his rating looks correct to me more so than others. He's getting weight off Gardens of Babylon. I think he's getting a couple of pounds off him, but on my ratings, Gardens of Babylon should be actually giving him 3 or 4 pounds. So, and he's Gardens of Babylon is another horse of Joseph O'Brien's who he's kind of he looks like he'll jump a fence. He's a nice type. I just don't know will the sharp nature of Galway really suit him. Band of Outlaws, on the other hand, he with the Friend Winter at the Cheltenham Festival this year. He's a nice little bunny horse. He travels well. He dumps well, and I just think that those little kind of sharp, nippy horses are really what you want in these Galway hurdle races, kind of when the ground is this quick. So I'm gonna back him each way today. I think he can get about 4.92. I'm sure. I don't know how many places market do you go down to, lads?
So generally with the exchange, you're talking 4 there, Rixie. But I mean, the beauty of that is if you're laying guys in the places, it's always far easier to get them beat when it's 4 than 6 or 7. Yeah,
exactly. I'll be backing Band of Outlaws each way. Kind of, I couldn't have him out of the places today. He is kind of the class act in the field. He's been bought by JP McManus as well, so I'm sure JP paid a nice out chunk for him. But if he wins today, he'll get a fair chunk of it back, because I think Galway hurdle is maybe the richest handicap in hurdle handicap in Europe actually. So it's worth a fair few quid. But look, it just doesn't look a good renewal. Band of Outlaws, he's the kind of class act in the race for me. I know 4-year-olds haven't done well in the race historically. I think it's maybe 20 years since the last 4-year-old won, but I would say he's an atypical 4-year-old in terms of he's had plenty of runs on the flat. His experience would probably count against most 4-year-olds in this race. Experience won't count against him.
Okay, and don't ever, like I said, do not apologise for backing favourites. We just want winners around here, Rixie. We don't really care outside of that. Right, guys, putting you on the spot once again. Best bets of the day. Micheál Deasy, you're on with the top left of the screen. What are you fancying? What's the best bet? The one bet that Deasy's having today?
I'll go for Maxad to place in the Nassau Stakes.
Okay, what kind of price would you be looking at? What kind of price would you be happy backing that one at?
Somewhere close to evens, maybe 2.5, that kind of thing. I mean, I presume she's going to go off probably about 6 or 7.0, maybe that kind of thing. Like, so if you can get even money with that, I think she has a good chance of hitting the front door 3 anyway.
Good,
but
man.
I think Hermosa is going to win.
Declan Rix?
I think the best value bet and the best bet, I think all wrapped in one, is definitely Hermosa for me today.
Easy game, 3.0. Happy with that, Rixie. No problem backing that at all. And I would suggest getting on it early rather than later, obviously, because the way you guys are talking, the market will move and it'll be moving in her favour. Right, that's it from us for this week. Don't forget that Tom Stanley and who we got? Tom Stanley and Sam Turner. Yeah, there you go. I almost forgot about these. Thank you. They're on tomorrow morning. They're previewing Friday's action at Goodwood. They probably won't look at Galway. That's more for us. And they'll also be looking at Saturday's action from Goodwood. Enjoy the racing today, and we'll chat to you again soon.